Yo, what is up, everybody? It's the Great here, and welcome back to another combat sports related video here today. And today, as we all know, we are near the date of the highly anticipated bout between Canelo Alvarez versus Billy Joe Saunders. Now, on one side, the A side, obviously, we have Canelo Alvarez, who's in a very unique position that only the greats amongst greats ever taste. You know, Floyd Mayweather, Ali, Tyson Fury, you know, Roy Jones Jr., you know, the very, very best to ever do it. Oscar De La Hoya, they're the only ones that ever taste that kind of success and stardom, right? He's at the pinnacle of the sport right now. But on the other side, we have a very interesting UK fighter who is very famous in the UK, I might add, and is a very slick southpaw himself, undefeated as well. But obviously, Canelo is the favorite. But even so, Billy Joe is a very, very interesting opponent for Canelo. And let's be honest, Canelo hasn't had an interesting opponent, or at least someone that we thought could maybe possibly challenge him since Triple G, which has already been a few years since then. So today we're going to be looking at a promo by the great Motovideo Boxing. They do a great job. They're possibly maybe the best at boxing promos. So today we're going to be watching Canelo Alvarez versus Billy Joe Saunders, a closer look. So I'm excited for this one. But before I begin, you know, any love is greatly appreciated. Hit that like button, turn on bell notifications, stay with yours truly. And if you're new and you enjoy, maybe this is your first time watching the kid, hit that sub button, man, because once you do, you become part of the family forever. Let's not waste any more time, screen. Let's see what this one what this entails.
Hey, who's next?
Who's next? I just said that's three now.
Welcome back,
This shows his dominance right there.
I've had in there with him now, and he just keeps beating. He may be unbeatable.
Even the promoter himself, Eddie Hearn himself, is saying Canelo is just world class.
I have to do stuff with him that no one's ever done. And yes, it's going to be hard, but I know I got the beating of him.
That's why a clash between two men in their peak years, chasing their own respective versions of fistic glory, is so enticing to boxing viewers around the globe.
Canelo has never been scared. He was built as everyone's built.
So, Canelo Alvarez, a Mexican legend, intent on enhancing an already glowing boxing legacy that has seen him win world titles across 4 weight classes.
By the way, he's 55-1 now after defeating his last opponent, by the way.
On the cusp of a big opportunity that would define his own career.
So I believe this video was made prior to that bout.
Boxing styles contrasting, personalities so different. The skill level on display will be of the highest order when Canelo and Billy Joe Saunders finally meet.
He's public enemy number one. He's the one that I want.
He has the title, the WBO title, and we're going after both titles.
Extremely tough challenge that Canelo is taking on.
Welcome to a Motovideo presentation.
Shout out to Motovideo, man. They do some very good work. But yeah, like they said, this is the pinnacle of boxing. It doesn't get much better than this in a boxing match, you know? Sorry about that glare. Fix that real quick.
Level skills to hit you more than you can hit him.
Sorry guys, I was on top of the fucking curtain.
The top of any credible pound-for-pound list, Canelo is adding names to his resume while traversing the weight classes in search of tough tests and bold.
No, I think it's safe to say Canelo's fighting IQ has greatly improved in the last few years, man. He's quite spectacular now.
In his most recent outing, we saw the 30-year-old Mexican star dismantle Callum Smith, his sturdy
that was very impressive.
in convincing fashion.
Smith is getting beaten down, but he hasn't stopped firing back.
A year prior, he was seen breaking down and knocking out feared Russian puncher Sergey Kovalev up at light heavyweight.
That was very impressive as well.
Moving from a 175-pound banger.
Honestly, I think Canelo's body shots are all-time great. I mean, he just systematically dismantles his opponents with those body shots of his.
Only defeat so far, Canelo has honed his craft to cater for all styles.
He's never been scared. He fought Austin Trout when he was the money man.
I agree with that.
Landy Lara, a slick Cuban southpaw, right?
To Lara's credit, that was a very close fight.
Superstar fighter would get in with Triple G, 168 pounders and below. We'll get it. Canelo will do it. Good early in this fight.
Those two fights were some all-time great fights for sure.
Unable to
Triple
crank
G
up the
and
pace
Canelo.
against Mayweather when it really mattered.
Very even opponents,
He
might
can
add.
now shift gears and break down an opponent when the situation demands.
Oh, it certainly is now. Huge right hand and calm down.
Sharpened under the tutelage of coach Eddie Reynoso, boxing's most prodigious A side enters with the odds stacked in his favor and is one of the sport's toughest men to defeat.
160 pounders, I think he could beat all of them. Whichever one you name, I think he could beat them all.
What do you go to? What do you reach for strength?
I just reach for win. That's all what goes to my mind. I don't care.
Yeah, when he's on form, he's absolutely brilliant. He can be untouchable at times. He's such a fantastic mover.
Billy Joe Saunders on his day is a very, very good fighter and can compete with any middleweight in the world in my eyes. All I tell him is don't make any mistakes because he's a very good fighter and he'll capitalise on your mistakes.
The opponent tasked with upsetting those odds has yet.
Now, admittedly, I haven't seen much clips of Billy Joe, but I know he's very slick southpaw.
Tonight, Englishman Billy Joe Saunders outboxed former world champion David Lemieux in Canada. He appeared on the verge of a breakthrough that never arrived.
You keep saying you want my WBO belt when I was 14 stone out of shape and wasn't in love with boxing. Then you wanted to fight me. Fight me now. Now fight me. We're seeing different stories. You'll be punching fresh air. Listen, that performance tonight will scare them off. I don't think they'll want to fight me out of that performance. They want to fight me, but not one of them signed no contract. So they want to fight me that much. Get your pens out and get it signed.
A projected bout with Triple G may have fallen by the wayside.
That would have been interesting as well.
Has an opportunity to shake boxing to its core.
His pedigree's never been a question. He is world class on his day. He's got the beatings of any middleweight, and I would say now super middleweight.
The guy is an elite boxer. Really? Boxing IQ, the guy's phenomenal.
Despite being a hefty underdog,
The other guy was pretty reluctant to accept that statement, huh?
Wilder, when the boxing lights shine down on center stage, expectations.
Fury, man, that guy's so good. All-time great.
Dividing.
He is ridiculous.
Dodgy scorecards. Everything's kept on a fair playing field. I know Canelo won't beat me.
A fleet-footed, defensively aware southpaw like Saunders, who does not lack belief and self-confidence, will look to follow a blueprint sketched out by the likes of Lara, Trout, and even Amir Khan. None of those was able to defeat Canelo. Such is the task facing the unbeaten matchroom stylist.
Billy Saunders from the UK Arsenal. Billy Joe Saunders is going to be fighting Canelo. Do you think that Billy Joe Saunders has a chance against Canelo? Yeah. Anything can happen in the sport of boxing.
Most definitely.
Oh, Billy Saunders, right? Man, they better leave that motherfucker alone, man. He boxed too good.
Saunders who realises it now. He's turning on the star.
Saunders using his footwork and coming off the ropes beautifully. Could be going on right here.
Even though Canelo started his career off at welterweight, aged just 15.
When he was a teenager, he was a YouTube sensation, playing to packed houses in Mexico, there to watch him.
Yeah, he was a prodigy at a very young age, man. Around age 15, he was already a prodigy.
Physical presence. Saunders, meanwhile, has often ballooned in weight outside of unsettled training camps. Many believe his best options are down at 160.
Perfection, and even the referee applauding Billy Joe Saunders, who has unquestionably retained his Commonwealth title and won this fight by a long, long way. It's a masterclass.
Saunders has risen to every challenge, yet has never boxed in the class of a Canelo before.
He can move, he's awkward, southpaw, throw some awkward angles. I think if anyone can beat Canelo, it's Billy Joe.
The Guadalajara native has 15 years and over 400 rounds of hardened ring experience.
Yeah, Canelo has tons of experience.
Both men boast high-level boxing ability. Canelo brings superb head movement to the table.
Most definitely.
Ring IQ and ability to manage rounds and fights, plus a punch that has traveled up the divisions.
Can't deny them skills. Canelo's got a big punch, yeah. You can take a punch, can't you?
I can take one, yeah.
You can take a punch.
Well, listen, you dare to be great. He's done it. All the greats have done it. So if you want to do it, you've got to take them chances.
Saunders'
We'll see if Billy could figure Canelo out. Canelo has great head movement, like they said, great defense, world-class defense. Let's see if Billy can figure out his rhythm. Maybe make this interesting. We'll find out.
Is going to give him a hell of a fight. I think he's going to give him a tough fight. I think he's going to give him a strategic fight, and that it's going to be competitive going into the late rounds and tough.
At 30 years of age and a former Olympian, Saunders has an underrated boxing brain. He may enjoy success early, but if the bout enters the latter stages, that is where Canelo switches on and starts using the knowledge he has accumulated on his prey.
Yeah, it's tough to say Canelo gets better as rounds go on, you know? He starts to peak in the middle rounds, I believe. That's when he's at his best. When he figures you out, he's at his best.
Brains over brawl. And I've got the skill set and mindset to beat anyone in the world.
Billy Joe's stamina must hold up better than against Chris Eubank Jr.
Hasn't landed the big clean shot. There he does. Great uppercut. Saunders takes it.
He cannot afford the inertia that crept in as the Andy Lee fight progressed.
Technology from Saunders.
Right.
He knows that he felt it. Lee has got a smile.
So Billy Joe has somewhat of an endurance problem, right? Cardio problem.
Must be on point for no less than 12 rounds if he is to stop the Canelo steam train.
At least that's what's being implied here.
With his punch output, his accuracy, his ability to box, and the degree to which he's dominating the fight so far.
Tricky left-handers have troubled the Mexican on previous nights. Saunders will know that if he is not constantly alert, he could end up more like James Kirkland than Evaslandi Lara.
Lara had a lot of success against Canelo.
Canelo's solid chin, intelligent pressure, and propensity to remain tactically versatile has enabled him to turn unfavorable situations around.
Good left hand.
As the sparkling lights of the Las Vegas Strip beckon for this intriguing clash of characters, one thing is for sure. Billy Joe Saunders will leave nothing in the ring on fight night.
He doesn't move like me. He's not as fast as me. He's not as slick as me. You know, he's not as beautiful as me. So let's get it on, Canelo. Let's see who the best is.
This outspoken, proud Romany fighter enters Canelo's territory with only victory on his mind. If he can avoid the big shots and land enough of his own firepower in return, then things could get interesting.
Most definitely.
Quickly.
Most definitely.
Consistently winning rounds in the
Yeah, Fury showed a lot of support to Billy Joe. Seem like they're good pals, you know?
Demanding proposition.
They glance directed downwards towards the canvas. There goes the bell. So here we go.
Pride and legacy are on the line in this exciting matchup of boxer versus puncher.
I thought I'd just stick to that. Feints, killing feints. I couldn't miss it. I knew a natural. Listen, a good boxer will always beat a good fighter.
Very interesting. Very good video by Motovideo, man. All right, there you guys have it by Motovideo. Well done by them. I think it was really well done. Now, to give my 2 cents here on this matchup here. Now, I think from watching Canelo enough, now, keep in mind, I'm not an expert. I'm not Teddy Atlas or Floyd Mayweather, but it seems Canelo has a tough time dealing with southpaws that are good at throwing linear punches, such as crosses and jabs. I mean, you see against Lara. Lara gave him a lot of trouble. Khan, you know, didn't rock him, but clipped him a couple times. So the question is, how good is Billy Joe? And how good is he as a southpaw? You know, how good? I feel like throwing curved sort of punches against Canelo, like ones that are not linear, won't help you win. His head movement's too good. But it seems maybe it's awkward to him to face a southpaw with good linear punches, you know, with good linear movement, such as Lara or a Khan. So if Billy Joe, maybe he'll peep that. I'm sure he will. He has world-class coaches and he's world-class himself. Maybe that will be something he uses. I don't know. In the game of boxing, everyone has a weakness. You know, everyone does. I mean, even Floyd against, you know, a couple people such as Maidana, Juan Luis Castillo. You see his weaknesses in there. Everyone has a weakness. Canelo, yes, is probably the best boxer on the planet currently and one of the greatest to ever do it. And probably top 3, top 2 Mexican fighter of all time. And probably top 15, damn near top 10 boxer of all time. He's getting there. So see if Billy Joe can execute. Also, it seems in this video it's implied that Billy Joe Saunders' cardio has not been the pinnacle of boxing in a couple of occasions. They pointed out a couple of them. He definitely needs the cardio because I think Canelo doesn't put on an insane pace, but he puts on a very tough pace. I think it's enough to keep any opponent on their toes. I think Canelo's cardio is pretty damn good. He's obviously mindful of his cardio. He doesn't want to overexert himself, but I think his pace is going to be something that Billy Joe definitely has to keep in mind. Hopefully he has the adequate cardio to go 12 rounds with Canelo Alvarez, because Canelo will put it on you from rounds 1 to 12. Now, mind you, Canelo he takes a round or two to kind of analyze his opponent and get going. If the opponent's a very slick boxer, which is probably why, in my opinion, he lost to Triple G in the first fight. It has its cons and pros and cons. Against Triple G, I feel like he took too long to get going, and Triple G did a little more in the first one. So I thought he won that one. And the second one, Canelo was more of the aggressor. So this is very interesting, man. There's a lot of factors that go into this, a lot of things that can't be answered until the night of. But it's definitely intriguing. It's the most intriguing fight since Canelo versus Triple G 2, obviously. These other opponents weren't even competition. Like Avni Yildirim wasn't a competition. He probably didn't even belong there. Although I know the boxing commissions or the WBO, WBC, they mandated Canelo to fight. It was a mandatory challenger, but he had no shot. Callum Smith got dismantled. It's obviously length and reach didn't mean nothing in that fight. But yeah, this is hopefully a very, very tough fight. I want to see Canelo get tested. I hope it ends up being quite the fight. I think if Canelo were to lose, Billy Joe would be one of the guys that could do it. He's a southpaw. He's slick. He seems to have pretty good defense of his own from what I've seen. I think it really comes down to who can figure out the other. Now, to defend Canelo here, Canelo has faced higher caliber opponents than Billy Joe Saunders. Billy Joe never got to fight Triple G. I think his best opponent was probably like Kell Brook or something like that. Now, mistake me if I'm not correct. Excuse me. Correct me if I'm not mistaken. Jesus. But yeah, I think Billy Joe hasn't faced the level of competition that Canelo has. It definitely hasn't faced anyone on the level of Canelo. Now, can I say Billy Joe's better than Triple G? I can't really say so because he hasn't faced the best of the best. I think Canelo has faced the best of the best on several occasions and has come out on top. He did lose, I believe, to Triple G, and obviously he lost to Floyd. But besides that, I think he's come out on top. There is some that you can make a case that he lost, but I still think he won, like against Lara, who, like I said, had a lot of success against him. Maybe if Billy Joe does something similar, or maybe a similar variation, it could work in his favor, and this can end up being a very interesting matchup. But yeah, guys, I think that's going to wrap it up. A couple final words here. We'll be doing a live stream reaction to this fight on May 8th. So stay tuned for that. And if you're a subscriber, you already know how it goes. I'm probably going to start a little early to talk to you guys. And it should be a great night of boxing. Hopefully, it's a war. I know that's all fight fans, no matter hardcore or casual, that's what we all want to see. A very tough and drawn-out fight, with the decisive conclusion. And maybe it's not decisive. Maybe it's so close that they go at it again like Triple G did with Canelo. We'll see. But I'd rather have it be decisive so we know who's the better fighter. But yeah, guys, I think that's going to wrap it up. This was a great video, once again, by Motivated Boxing. Let me know of any other recommendations in the comments. It can be combat sports related. It can be anime related. It can be anything. And if enough of you want it, I will do it. Basically anything you guys want me to do. But yeah, guys, I love you all, and I'll catch you in the next one. This is Jittery signing out. Peace.